Today we're going to be talking about trust. Well, not actually trust, but trust. And also some elder law. Our guest is Aaron Futterman. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good. We knew each other way back when. I'm going to say 10 years ago because I don't like to say 20 because 20 makes me seem old. But we got reacquainted because I watched your career and all the great things that you're doing in the community. So congratulations, Aaron.
Oh, thank you.
You've got a wonderful practice that you've developed.
Thank you.
What made you go into this, and why are you interested in elder law?
Well, my background is an attorney, but I'm also a CPA. And when I graduated from law school, I was working helping wealthy families save taxes. And an incident happened in my own family with my grandmother, and my father needed help. And he says to me, Aaron, you got to help me out. Grandma needs to go in the nursing home. And I said, Dad, I'd love to, but I don't know what I'm doing. I help wealthy people. He goes, but you're the family attorney. I go, I'm not doing you any favors. You gotta help out. You know, I can't help you here. And I learned that there was an attorney had the reputation of being the elder law expert. So I sent my dad to see him and see what he said. And the advice that he got, I just hit me in the gut funny. And I started researching a little bit. And basically the advice was that my grandmother was going to lose all her assets. And I found this incredible, being having paid her taxes all the time, saved for a rainy day, the wife of a veteran. And the long and short of it is I was able to devise a scheme to save everything. My grandma was on Medicaid, and it paid for the nursing home, which was looking for, I think, $14,000 a month, and everything worked out great. And as soon as that happened, I had the epiphany, and I said that I'm going to tell my bosses goodbye, start my own practice, and
and help grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I knew. I knew that if the expert didn't know,
right.
There was no chance for anyone in the public. There was no chance.
Now, Medicaid. Let's talk about that. How does that work as a component right now for the elderly?
Well, there's actually a couple of parts to Medicaid. The one that most people are familiar with is what's known as chronic care Medicaid, which can help pay for someone that goes into a skilled nursing home. And believe it or not, the average monthly cost of being in the nursing home is about $15,000 a month here on Long Island. Although that's an average. I have a family right now that's paying $24,000 a month. So, you know, very quickly,
wow.
Yeah, it could wipe people out, and they don't realize it until the crisis happens. The idea with Medicaid is that if you qualify, rather than spend everything you saved your entire life, maybe Medicaid will be available to pay for these costs if God forbid you need the nursing home.
What is a 5-year look back? I thought it was only 2 years, and you said, Don, that was a long time ago. I was like, oh, okay, so what does it mean?
Well, to qualify for Medicaid, an applicant really has to pass 3 tests. Number one, you have to be in the nursing home with a medical need to be there. Number two, you have to be financially eligible. You have to be poor. Medicaid is the payer of last resort. And then, of course, the third test is that there's a 5-year look back where Medicaid will look at that person's finances and dig through it, and they'll look at all the bank statements, all the investment statements, tax returns. And what this caseworker is ultimately looking for is to see if mom or the applicant gave things away in the 5-year look back in an effort to pass test 2, looking poor. Obviously, if mom gave away things greater than 5 years ago, no worries, there's no punishment. However, people aren't in the habit of giving things away too soon. And if mom gives things away within the 5 years, that'll punish her for a period of time from being eligible for Medicaid. And of course, mom's now in the nursing home, and they're saying, how are you paying? And
they want it all.
That's right.
Tell me about trusts.
Well, when people come to me, a lot of times they're looking for a trust. It's really just some fancy legal papers that the client and I create, which basically set up a relationship amongst 4 elements. There's a grantor, mom. There's a trustee, usually one of the kids. There's beneficiaries, and then there's the property that goes into the trust. The idea with the trust is that mom is putting assets that are currently in her name into a trust effectively to start that 5-year stopwatch, so that if she ever needed help in the future, she had made these transfers greater than 5 years ago, so of course she wouldn't be punished and these assets would be preserved for her and hopefully ultimately for her kids or grandkids if she ever needed the nursing home.
Okay, and one other question. What's the difference between a revocable and an irrevocable trust? And how do you know which one you need? I guess they should come talk to you, but,
Well,
but like, how do you know how do you know the difference? What's the difference?
The revocable trust allows mom to put stuff in and take stuff out at her leisure. And basically, a revocable trust is really a fancy will substitute.
Okay.
And, people use it a lot of times if for some reason they don't want to use a will, maybe because they expect some kind of contest, maybe they're treating their kids unevenly. And that has zero Medicaid benefits
Okay.
as far as planning. The irrevocable trust, which, by the way, I hate the title of that because that scares a lot of people.
Yeah, irrevocable.
Yeah, it's in cement and
Right.
it can never be changed. The reality is that's the type of trust that will help from a Medicaid perspective. And the irrevocable part is really that when mom puts stuff in, the trustee, one of the kids, they're never permitted to give it back to mom. And again, mom goes, well, why would I ever do this? And I have to, and part of my job is to try to explain that putting it into the trust and not having it go back into her name is what keeps it safe. Because if mom puts it into the trust, and let's say the family comes back to me 20 years later, mom's going in the nursing home, and we're applying for Medicaid, and Medicaid says, where does mom live? Well, she lives in her house. Okay, and does she own the house? No. Mom put it in the house 20 years ago. Next question, can the trustee give it back to mom, like in a revocable trust? If
Right.
the answer is yes, that allows Medicaid to put a claim on that house to collect after they've paid for mom for so many years. However, if it's irrevocable and they ask, can you give it back to mom? That's what keeps it safe because they can't.
Okay.
The real worry that mom has is continuing to be in control. And of course, if the trust is designed right, even though it's in the trust and it can't go back to her, she's still in charge of what's
Giving them
going
peace
on
of
here.
mind is what you do.
Because quite frankly, if she were giving things away and not in charge, why would anyone ever do this, trying to do their children a favor in saving them assets if they were out of control all of a sudden? So
Beautiful.
that's the key to that type of planning.
And this is what you enjoy doing. This
I
gives you
love it.
great joy.
I do it. I love it.
Yes.
It does give me great joy. You get to look like Superman. I mean, I'm not one of these attorneys that's out to sue people and chase ambulances. I'm out to save mom's house. I
Yeah.
mean, it doesn't get any better than that, really.
Wow, that's fantastic. I thank you. And like I said, I've known you for a while, and I've watched you grow as a person, as a great member of the community. And I thank you, Aaron, for all that you're doing.
You're
'Cause
very welcome.
people-
Thank you.
Because there needs to be a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, an attorney. But you're right, going to somebody that has your best interest at heart makes the whole process a lot better. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned for more on Live It Up. We hope you enjoy the segments that we bring you that are making a difference in your family.